Hey everybody, Graham here. Today I'm going to tell you a story about how I came to really hate the corporate media. Corporate media is my term for what other people call the mainstream media or the legacy media or, you know, things along those lines. But I'm talking about, the newspapers, the television networks, and stuff like that. So I've already talked about strike one. Strike two, I should say. Strike one is this. Every time I've seen an article in a newspaper or a story on a news program that is about something that I have actual firsthand knowledge of, they get it wrong. And I figure they're probably not just getting wrong the stuff that I know about. They're probably getting everything wrong. So that was strike one. Strike two, I talked about in an earlier video. I'll just give you the brief recap. I was living in Georgia when the 1996 Olympics were being held in Atlanta. And my ex-wife and I went to see the torch was coming nearby our town. So we drove out to see the torch get passed off to another runner, and we got there. We set up for a nice little time. We found a good spot where we had a good view, except as it turned out, there were no spots with good views because when the handoff happened, the two runners were entirely encircled by photographers. So those of us who actually came out to watch did not see a damn thing. It looked like a rugby scrum. Like the runners were in the middle and this ring of photographers crouched around them. It was bad. So that was strike two. So strike three happened a few days after 9/11. Now, if you weren't alive during 9/11 or you were too young to have really felt the impact of it or whatever, it was a really weird time, those few weeks just after. There was a sense of national unity that I don't think has been seen in this country for a long, long time. But there were a lot of people making expressions of patriotism. And my ex-wife and I decided that we wanted to do that. And what we wanted to do was fly an American flag on our house. Now, the problem is this happened in September. And in September, you're not going to find flags in most stores. The only time you find flags in most stores is just before Memorial Day through about the 4th of July, and then they go away. So we were trying to find a flag. We wanted a real flag, a good quality, fairly sizable flag. So we found one store in the entire metro area of our city that sold all sorts of flags. I mean, it was literally just a flag store. So, fine. We jumped in the car and we drove out to this place. And when we got there, we discovered that there was a line out the door of the flag store. So, we were not the only people with this idea. So, we were standing there in the line, and we started talking to the other people in the line, and it turned into like this little sort of informal social thing. And it was really nice. Like, we were talking to people and having just sort of normal conversations and just sort of reestablishing that feeling of connectedness with our fellow Americans. I don't really know how to describe this because if you haven't felt it, you have no reference point. But in general, it was nice to be out. It was nice to be among people in a peaceful way and just talking and sort of sharing our feelings about all of this. Then a news van pulled up. And out jumped a local news reporter who's fairly well known because he is the guy who on this particular channel does all of the human interest stories. So if the firefighters are having an event where they're letting kids jump on the trucks and stuff like that. They send this guy out there to cover it. So this guy shows up, and immediately the tone of the whole group changes. It was now no longer this nice sort of community thing. It was suddenly a media circus, and everybody was sort of jockeying to try to get this guy's attention, to hope that they would get talked to so that they could get on TV tonight. And it really ruined something that I thought was kind of special. That was the final nail in the coffin of my loathing for the traditional media. And I really can't overstate that enough. And that's one of the reasons why I am such a big supporter of entrepreneurial media. YouTube channels, Rumble channels, what have you. Twitch streams, any streams, just anything that's not being controlled by an editorial department that's made up of people who have been in the news business for 30 years and have definite opinions about the way things should be. Entrepreneurial journalists do what brings them viewers. And at least for me, what gets me to watch a channel is if I'm hearing reliable information. It doesn't have to be information that I like, but don't insult me by telling me I should like it. And that's what the MSM does all the time. Anyway, just kind of wanted to throw that out there because I'm seeing on Twitter, Cat 10 Barge especially is going after Andy Signor and bizarrely Steph the Alter Nerd. I don't know why anyone would go after Steph, but that's what they're doing. So, death to corporate media, long live entrepreneurial media. That's what I've got to say today. So, let me know what you think. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Graham out. Bye.